Trump-Musk row explodes as billionaire claims president named in Epstein files.
In the US, a formerly key political partnership is imploding in spectacular fashion tonight as a bitter war of words develops between Donald Trump and Elon
Remember, this is BBC, so I'm gonna check it out afterwards.
Musk. During a press conference in the Oval Office, President Trump said he was surprised and disappointed at Mr. Musk's criticism of a key piece of his legislation. Elon Musk responded on the social media platform
The Doge father.
X, which he owns, with a series of increasingly disparaging remarks about his former boss, calling him ungrateful, saying that his tariffs will cause a recession, and alleging that he is named in the files of the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
Wow, it was an accusation. We still don't know. Yeah, we should absolutely be released the files. We should absolutely be getting to see every single person and ostracize every single person that joined in said activity, especially if that activity was with people that didn't want to be there. That's the big problem. If they just had a sex island, it wouldn't have mattered. I wouldn't have given a single shit. But because there was so much about it being people that didn't want to be there and was having encounters of the sexual nature of which they didn't want to join, that's a different case. These people should be named and shamed and should lose their jobs, personally. But that's a personal opinion there.
Watching it all is Sarah Smith.
Give it to Elon as a presentation from our country.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elon.
Thank
A
you.
golden key to the White House was Elon Musk's leaving present.
Okay, that's
Now,
good.
less
That's
than
nice.
a week later, Donald Trump might want to think about changing the locks.
Elon.
Why is the BBC always kind of like a ratty? Like, oh, they might want to have to change the locks.
And I had a great relationship. I don't know if it went well anymore. I was surprised because...
Today, the German Chancellor Friedrich Merz was the Oval Office guest star, but Elon Musk and his criticism of Mr. Trump's spending bill dominated the conversation, to the president's obvious irritation.
But I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem.
Just minutes later, Elon Musk replied on X, saying, "False. This bill was never shown to me even once and was passed in the dead of night, so fast almost no one in Congress could even read it."
Where is he?
Fair
Come
enough,
on
if that's
up
true.
here, Elon.
Mr. Musk obviously adored being in the spotlight as he campaigned alongside Donald Trump. Today, he's claiming that without him and the more than $250 million he donated, the president would have lost the election.
That could be true. There could be some truth in there. There could absolutely be some truth in there. However, I also do think $250 million, that's a lot of fucking money to donate. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. I was going to say, I do think Musk is a little bit of a stranger boy. I'm sure he does a lot of good and probably a lot of bad as well, but yeah, he's just strange.
They were once seen together everywhere. Now their row is being conducted in plain sight, on social media. Mr. Trump on Truth Social upped the ante with, "Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted.
That nobody else wanted." See, that's the savageness of Trump sometimes. I took away his EV mandate. Made everybody else, no. Nobody wanted this. Nobody wanted this. You know, he knew, and he knew that for months. I was going to do it. And he just went crazy. And I can believe that. I can believe this. If he was genuinely pissed off because they took away the mandate for EV, so electric vehicles, then he could have just been a sore baby. Because when you hear him talk, sometimes you hear that the emotional intelligence isn't at the level of certain other people. But this was actually the case, and then he just wanted to throw the president under the bus because he felt thrown under the bus. That's another problem. So which one? Did he do it in the dead of night, or is it that Elon actually knew everything about it and just wanted to throw him under the bus?
He knew for months I was going to do, and he just went crazy. Musk called that an obvious lie, and then really escalated the abuse, suggesting Donald Trump has withheld files related to Jeffrey Epstein, who was arrested on charges of sex trafficking and died by suicide in jail.
He died by suicide that couldn't have been suicide. I love that they say die by suicide. It was pretty much shown that it couldn't have been suicide. Just saying.
Because he's named in them. Mr. Musk tweeted, "Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they've not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT."
I do not think he would have been the only reason why it wouldn't have been made public. There's a lot of names in there that nobody wants to have people see. But yeah, maybe he is in there. And if he is in there, it's probably one of the reasons why it's not being made public. But if Oprah Winfrey was in there, or if Ellen DeGeneres was in there, that's going to be equally powerful people.
Mr. Musk and his chainsaw were brought into government to aggressively cut government spending. A pointless exercise, he thinks, if President Trump will blow all the savings on tax cuts in his spending bill.
You know, I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the Doge team is doing.
Which is that one?
Donald Trump is now suggesting the easiest way to save money would be to terminate Elon Musk's billions of dollars in government contracts and subsidies. It was probably inevitable this bromance would turn sour, but no one expected it to go this bad, this fast.
We'll be speaking to Sarah in a moment, but first, our business editor, Simon Jack, is here. Simon, Elon Musk, known as the world's richest man, is he still?
He still is, but blimey, this has been an expensive foray into politics. I reckon Tesla shares are down 14% today, mainly on that comment about losing subsidies and contracts. That's the real killer here.
And then he probably will purchase up a bunch of fucking stocks and then sell the stocks when they're back up to normal. Because that's what a lot of these people do. They create fear and they create euphoria, fear and euphoria. And those two things kind of fight each other. So now, let's say they're fighting. This could all be a ruse as well. Just they're fighting, and then they're buying a bunch of Tesla stock. And then they're saying, yeah, no, never mind. Like, it's all good. It's all good now. We fixed it. And then boom, it goes back up 20% again. Boom, they made 20% money.
It's not about the personalities, it's about the money. So I reckon Tesla shares have lost $140 billion worth today. He owns about a seventh of that. So you're about 20 billion down just on the day. That would be enough to put him in the top 10 of richest people in the UK on his losses just today. I reckon since the high point, the bromance, the height of the bromance, Tesla shares are down some 40%. So that's probably cost him about 70 billion. And don't forget, big losses also potentially on SpaceX. Now, SpaceX
but
shares...
you can also write off losses. So I don't know quite how they're doing that, but they're apparently writing off a lot of losses. Maybe they're using this situation in a positive way.
Aren't publicly traded, but the US has largely outsourced a lot of their satellite program to Elon Musk. That's worth hundreds of billions as well, 350 billion. He owns 42% of that. If that was a publicly traded stock, I think it would be down even more than Tesla. So
here's my question. If the rich really wanted to, they don't need to expose themselves to Epstein to do what they do. Epstein makes it more likely that it could be exposed. However, Soren, let me answer it the best I can. It's highly likely that they outsource the work because a rich person isn't going to be doing this by themselves. So if they're really rich, and Epstein wasn't caught for many years, the probability is that he was one of the people they outsourced it to. Or somebody else above him had him as a figurehead to do all of these things. Right? Doesn't matter. He's either number one or number two in this, or like number 3 or 4 or 5. You know what I mean? Like one of these, maybe 4 guys. Point is, he is highly likely the person that they go to do these things, because if they're really that rich, they're never going to touch that themselves. Right? But the one thing I find weird is the list. That's the one thing I find weird. That I would have never wanted any of my clients to be on any list. I would have called them anonymous 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then just memorized the payments they've given. So I know who they were, but I don't quite know all the intricate details of this particular case.
My reckoning, since the height of their romance, he's lost over $100 billion. There are only 14 people in the history of the world who've ever made that much money. So, as I say, one of the most expensive forays into politics of all time.
Huge figures there. Simon, thank you very much. Let's go back to Sarah Smith in Washington. And Sarah...
I would also say that the most expensive foray into politics are the people that die. But, I mean, what's a life for these people? 20,000, 50,000.
This is all spectacular theatre, but what are the real world consequences of this spat?
Yeah, well, this could be
just
really
looked
important
annoying.
for the Trump administration.
Holy
An
shit.
administration that this time last week, Elon Musk was at the absolute heart of, and as he was leaving, said he wanted to remain a close advisor to Donald Trump. Now, on social media, he's going so far as suggesting that Donald Trump ought to be impeached and replaced with the Vice President, J.D.
That's
Vance. I mean,
emotional.
it's such a quick
That's just emotional.
turnaround.
It's like a
and
little
it could
girl.
really matter also because, obviously, Elon Musk has a very loud voice. He owns his own social media platform, X, so
A loud voice and a small emotional, what the fuck is it called? Like dynamite stick. The thing on the dynamite stick. Yeah, the thing you...
he can make his views and his criticism very much heard, but also he has that enormous checkbook, albeit he's lost a lot of money today, he still has a lot that he could spend.
Yeah.
He had promised $100 million to be spent on political groups that are controlled by Donald Trump. Will that money now turn up? That seems quite unlikely.
Probably not.
He might be more likely to target that at representatives and senators who, say, for instance, vote for this great big...
And that's what lobbying is, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Lobbying is literal corruption, but with legal steps.
spending bill. He could then use his cash to target them to try and get them replaced by other candidates. That's something that representatives do genuinely worry about. And Elon Musk has a big enough checkbook to make that a real threat. So he can use his money to continue to try to influence policy. And then today, on social media, among all the other things he's been saying, he's even suggested that he might start his own political party, which he could afford to finance.
100%.
So far, he's had
100%.
almost 2 million responses to.
Not only that, but they could do it really smart. I know that Trump, for his presidential campaign, lent his own money to his campaign. So basically, the government has to pay it back. I mean, Elon could do the same thing, no?
That, with over 80% of them encouraging him to set up his own party.
Sarah.
Did Elon and Trump fall out? Let's see here. I want to see it from something else that isn't BBC. I mean, most of these Guardian, CNN, all these are very one leanings. I wanted to see the other side as well. I want to see the other side. Fox. That's the other side. That's the worst part of the other side, maybe. Investor nightmare.
You know,
How
Elon's-
Trump-Musk fallout is crushing Tesla stock. So that's more how they're looking at it. But they do have a fallout. Okay, I see. So it does happen. It's happening. Both sides are saying it.